is day 1 of some basic concept of chemistry. In today's lecture, we will discuss topic number 1.2 and 1.5. Okay, topic 1.1 is Introduction to Chemistry, and topic 1.3 and 1.4 are related to measurement of physical quantity related to matters. You already studied in the lower standard, as well as you will study some fraction of that study in physics. So we will discuss today topic 1.2 and 1.5. So 1.2 is matter and its classification. So first of all, what is matter? You studied that anything that occupies space and has mass is called matter. Okay, now matter is classified by two ways. First way is based on its physical state. So the first classification is based on in what physical state matter exists. So this classification is based on physical state, and another classification is based on properties. Okay, so classification of matter according to its properties, so we can say based on properties of matter, it can be classified. So this portion you already studied in standard 9, but let us revise quickly. Okay, so based on physical state, matter is further classified into three categories. One is known as solid, another is known as liquid, and third state is gas. Okay, so the given compound, given any matter, may exist in any of these three states. It depends upon the condition of temperature and pressure. So condition of temperature and pressure is a prime factor to classify matter in solid, liquid or gas. For example, if I take H2O, so if I write H2O solid, then it is known as ice. You know that ice can exist if temperature is kept equal to 0 or below 0. Okay, if we take pure water, then okay, so temperature is the prime factor. So if temperature is less than 0 degree Celsius, H2O will exist in solid state. But if temperature is higher than it, then it will exist in liquid state. When H2O being solid or liquid, some fraction of H2O will spontaneously turns into its another state. It is known as gaseous state. That process in which H2O turns into H2O gas is known as evaporation. Okay, so due to evaporation, a liquid show tendency undergoing into its gaseous state. But at a particular point, all the amount of liquid, given quantity of liquid, will turns into gaseous state. At that time, its temperature will remain constant. It is called its boiling point. So boiling point of any liquid is the temperature at which vapor pressure of liquid will be equal to atmospheric pressure. We will discuss later in properties of liquid, but we can say temperature is the prime factor. So as we increase the temperature of H2O solid, first it gradually turns into H2O liquid, that is water, and H2O will show tendency undergoing evaporation, that is to convert itself into gaseous state, and as temperature increases, that tendency increases. After certain high temperature, H2O liquid, that is water, boils away. It is called its boiling point. At that time, the quantity of H2O water taken transfer into gas, that is into its vapor form. Okay, it is called its boiling point. At that time, boiling point temperature will not change. Okay, now this classification shows that a matter is interconvertible depending upon condition of temperature and or pressure, because for certain state pressure doesn't matter, so there is a very less effect of pressure. For example, especially for liquid, if we increase the, especially in case of water, if we increase its pressure, and if pressure is made 1000 atmosphere, means 1000 atmospheric pressure external force is applied on water, then it will shrink up to 3% only, 3 to 4%. It means liquid are non-compressible. So there is no any significant change in volume of water by exerting external pressure, that is external force. Okay, so we can say liquid are non-compressible. Okay, in case of solid there is no effect of pressure, but in case of gas there is a significant effect of pressure. Okay, now can H2O, that is steam of water, converted into water again? Then answer is yes, if it undergo condensation. So if we cool it, then gradually the vapor start to undergoing condensation. Okay, so by condensation it may turns into liquid state again. And similarly, if we convert H2O into ice, then for that we have to withdraw heat from the water, so it is called solidification. Okay, so again by cooling it may be converted into solid state. So if you see a same matter, that is H2O, exists into solid state, liquid state, or in a gaseous state. So in what state it will remain will depend upon the set of condition of temperature and pressure. So temperature and pressure is a prime factor. We know that in several reactions directly with the help of pressure and by lowering temperature, a gas can be transferred into solid state directly. For example, formation of dry gas. Okay, but again I will say what the condition of temperature and pressure is will decide in what state a matter will exist. I am showing a simple and normal spontaneous phenomenon taking place in our Earth atmosphere. Okay, because in several portions where there is a very low temperature, water turns into ice, and in warm condition ice turns into water, and we know that the sea water and natural sources of water, whether it is river or pond, the water contained by it undergo evaporation and turns into gaseous state. Okay, so evaporation is different thing and boiling is another thing. Boiling of any liquid take place exactly on its boiling point. At that time the vapor pressure contained by liquid, that is vapor pressure of liquid, will be equal to that of atmospheric pressure. So do not consider evaporation process as a boiling process, right? Similarly, solid turns into liquid, that process is called fusion. Okay, so these are the natural processes or man-made processes. Depending upon what temperature and pressure are given, we can convert ice into water or water into ice. Similarly, water into its vapor, or vapor may be converted into water again. Okay, so this classification is based on physical state. Now depending upon properties, in how many different form matter is classified. Okay, so this classification is based on studying internally. Okay, what is the internal structure of matter So this classification divide the matter into two categories. One is called pure substances and another is called mixture. Okay. Now pure substances may be of two types. It may be elementary. It can be elementary or it may be compound. So what is mean by elementary substances? So we can say the combination of only one type of atom will give us one state of matter and it is called elementary substance. For example, P4. Okay, so when four phosphorus atom combines, then they will form P4 molecule. Okay, so it is elementary. Okay, similarly, all metals are elementary compounds. All metals. Oxygen is also elementary compound. Okay, so fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine, they are termed as halogen X2. They are also elementary substance. Then what are compounds? Okay, so compounds are formed by reaction between two or more elementary substances. So when two or more atoms of different elements combines with each other, then the simplest state form is called a compound. Usually it is also known as a molecule. Okay, for example, suppose sodium metal reacts with chlorine vapor or chlorine gas, it gives us sodium chloride. Okay, so sodium is elementary, chlorine is also elementary. So when two or more atoms of different elements combines with each other, then the simplest compound form is called molecule or it is also known as compound. So compound shows collective, that is properties non-identical with any of these elementary substances. For example, sodium being metal and as it is highly reactive, it is stored under kerosene. Chlorine is toxic gas, but sodium chloride is not toxic. Neither it is stored under kerosene because this sodium chloride is made of sodium ion and chloride ion. If you see, friends, here during combination of sodium metal with chlorine, the constituents of compound form are non-identical with them. Neither sodium chloride shows similar property that is shown by sodium nor by chlorine. Understood? So it is called chemical change. In this unit, first of all, we will study the laws which govern the given reaction. तो जो भी chemical changes होते हैं उसमें कौन कौन से laws applicable हैं वो हमें पढ़ना है. दैट इज टॉपिक नंबर 1.5. लेकिन उससे पहले हम थोड़ा बहुत ये जो रूटीन है, क्लासिफिकेशन है, वो पढ़ लेते हैं. सो इट इज क्लासिफिकेशन ऑफ कंपाउंड बेस्ड ऑन प्रॉपर्टीज। अब आपको पता चला कि बेस्ड ऑन प्रॉपर्टी क्या है। ओके, ये जो एलिमेंट्री स्टेट है वो सबसे सिंपलेस्ट स्टेट है। दिस इज द मोस्ट सिंपलर फॉर्म ऑफ मैटर, सॉरी। सो इट कैन नॉट बी further classified into simplest form. सिंपलर फॉर्म, उससे छोटा सा पार्ट पॉसिबल नहीं है। फॉर एग्जाम्पल, अगर हम बोलते हैं कि ऑक्सीजन गैस, तो हम O2 लिखते हैं, हम O नहीं लिखते हैं। वैसे हम बोलते हैं क्लोरीन गैस, तो हम Cl2 लिखते हैं, हम Cl नहीं लिखते हैं। ओके, इन केस ऑफ मेटल यू कैन से they are symbolized by the symbols used in periodic table. Okay, so इनको आप सिंपलर फॉर्म में कन्वर्ट नहीं कर सकते हो, ये सिंपलेस्ट फॉर्म ऑफ मैटर है। बट इन केस ऑफ कंपाउंड वी आर एबल टू कन्वर्ट सोडियम क्लोराइड into sodium and chlorine again. Yes, for that we required some special kind of reactions. Okay, for example, if sodium chloride is converted into molten state, or it is called melted state or fused state. So if we have fused sodium chloride and it is subjected very high direct current, it means we will take sodium chloride in a fused state into molten form, fused form. So it will appear as a paste and some necessary water is added and it is kept in a container with insulating wall. We will immerse graphite rods inside it, and this fused sodium chloride is now subjected electric current. Means these two rods, they are also known as electrodes because they will conduct electricity. So rods which conduct electricity are called electrodes. So one of the electrode is connected with negative terminal of external source of electricity and another is connected with positive terminal. Okay, it means this graphite rod is now positively charged and this graphite rod is now negatively charged. If you see inside the fused state, there will be no attraction between sodium and chloride ion. So all the sodium ions are free to move. Now they are not affected by the presence of oppositely charged ion. So fused sodium chloride will be in form of free cations and anions. Okay, therefore we say in solid state NaCl is very bad conductor, almost insulator of electricity, but when it is brought to fused state or melted state, it shows conduction. It is due to presence of these free ions. Okay, so it is called ionic conductivity. So ionic conductivity will shown by sodium chloride, which will not shown by chlorine gas. Sodium will conduct electricity, but it is due to presence of their free electrons. So the conduction shown by sodium is electric conductivity or electronic conductivity. So electrical conduction is different than ionic conduction. तो देखेंगे आप ये जो सोडियम क्लोराइड है उसकी प्रॉपर्टी काफ़ी डिफरेंट है उनमें जो एलिमेंट्री सब्सटेंसेस है उनसे। ओके, चलिए अब हम यहाँ पे वापस आते हैं। सो व्हेन इट इज सब्जेक्टेड वेरी हाई डायरेक्ट करंट, द सोडियम आयन, वी नो दैट सोडियम बीइंग पॉजिटिवली चार्ज, इट विल migrate towards oppositely charged electrode because we know that unlike charges attract and like charges repel. So in the similar phenomena, the chloride ions present in molten state now start or migrate towards positively charged electrode. जो positive ions हैं उसको हम बोलते हैं cation और जो negative ions हैं उसको बोलते हैं हम anion. तो ये जो कैटायन है वो माइग्रेट होता है टुवर्ड्स नेगेटिवली चार्ज इलेक्ट्रोड, तो वो कैटायन को अट्रैक्ट कर रहा है, ऐसा भी हम बोल सकते हैं। देयरफॉर कैथोड इज symbolized by negative sign and anode is symbolized by positive sign in case of electrolytic cell। इलेक्ट्रोकेमिकल सेल में वो अलग फिनोमिना होगी जो हम 12th स्टैंडर्ड में पढ़ेंगे। सो यहाँ पे जो कैथोड है जो नेगेटिवली चार्ज है वो सोडियम को अट्रैक्ट करता है। सो यू स्टडीड दैट सोडियम आयन विल गेन इलेक्ट्रॉन and so it becomes neutral and therefore it turns into sodium metal. Okay, so sodium metal will deposit on the surface of cathode. For further prevention we will study a cell by which we can opt sodium chloride, we can opt sodium and chlorine gas. Okay, so that sodium is directly stored in kerosene. Now let us come to this electrode. So on cathode sodium ion gain electron and turns into sodium metal. This process is called reduction. The addition of electron in any body is known as reduction. Okay, now what happened at anode? Let us see. At anode there is a chloride ion. So chloride ion will lose its charge, means it will lose electron and turns into chlorine. Okay, so it is impossible to keep chlorine into atomic form, therefore I am writing Cl2. So to balance the reaction I will write half Cl2. Okay, it doesn't mean that there is a half molecule but half number of molecule. Okay, so chloride ion turns into chlorine gas. This process in which electron is released is called oxidation. Okay, in short we can say by supplying certain fixed amount of electricity, the given sodium chloride can be converted into sodium metal and chlorine gas. That is, compound is converted into elementary form. So compound into elementary form can be converted, but somewhat it is difficult. Not impossible but difficult. So I will put asterisk mark. So difficult and it will be different for different matter. Okay, so what kind of compound is that? It depends. For example, instead of sodium chloride, if we have silver chloride, then silver chloride undergo thermal decomposition. Means even though there is a sufficient heat and sunlight, then it turns into silver and releases chlorine gas. Okay, so this is very easy process with respect to sodium, silver chloride, argonium chloride. With the help of heat and sunlight, it turns into silver and chlorine gas. That is, it turns into its elementary form. But if we keep sodium chloride for a very long time in heat, then it will not convert into sodium metal nor in chlorine gas. Understood? So it is somewhat difficult, not impossible. And compound to compound, the method which is adapted to convert itself into its elementary form, इसमें जो भी एलिमेंट्स प्रेजेंट है उसमें कन्वर्ट करने की जो मेथड हमने अडॉप्ट किया है वो कंपाउंड टू कंपाउंड चेंज होता है. ओके, नाउ लेट अस कम टू द नेक्स्ट पॉइंट. इट इज कॉल्ड मिक्सचर. नाउ मिक्सचर्स आर classified into two categories. One kind of mixtures are known as homogeneous mixture. So homogeneous mixture. And another are known as heterogeneous mixture. Okay, so in case of homogeneous mixture, the compound present cannot be separated by any boundary. the compounds are in fixed proportion for example air. If we take pure air, which is not possible nowadays, but suppose we take pure air, then mainly it contains nitrogen and oxygen. We know that the percentage of nitrogen in air is almost 78% and oxygen almost 21%. Okay, now if we calculate their mass and find out their mass ratio, then mass of nitrogen is to mass of oxygen will bear a fixed ratio, whatever the part of air is withdrawn or taken. तो वो डिपेंड नहीं करेगा कि उसमें वो हमने कौन सा पोर्शन लिया. एक और सिंपल सा एग्जांपल ले लेते हैं. जैसे हमने सोडियम क्लोराइड है और वाटर को मिक्स किया, ठीक है ना. तो अभी हमारी कन्वीनियंसी के लिए हम ले लेते हैं 58.5 ग्राम ऑफ सोडियम क्लोराइड जो उसका मॉलिक्यूलर मास है, और ये हम ले लेते हैं 1 लीटर. ओके, तो जब हम 1 लीटर लेंगे तो हम फर्दर कैलकुलेट करेंगे. अभी आप ऐसा कंसीडर कर लो कि वो 55.55 मोल है, ठीक है ना. सो 1 लीटर ऑफ वाटर इज इक्वल टू 1000 ग्राम, और जब हम मास को डिवाइड करते हैं बाय इट्स मॉलिक्यूलर मास, तो जो भी हमें नंबर मिलता है उसको हम मोल बोलेंगे. सो मोल यहाँ पे मिल रहा है 1000 डिवाइडेड बाई 18 55.5, और 58.5 को हम डिवाइड करेंगे 58.5 से, तो वो हमें मिलता है 1. तो ये जो रेशियो है वो क्या हो गया 1:55.55. तो जब हम सोडियम क्लोराइड को ऐड करेंगे वाटर में तो हमें सलाइन सॉल्यूशन मिल जाएगा, जिसको हम डिनोट करते हैं बाय NaCl aqueous. तो उसमें जो मोल रेशियो है सोडियम क्लोराइड इज टू वाटर, वो कोई फिक्स्ड रेशियो को फॉलो कर रहा है. ओके, तो ये आपको समझ में आ गया. अब जब हम वाटर सलाइन वाटर को ऑब्जर्व करेंगे तो हमें ऐसा कोई बाउंड्री नहीं मिलेगा जो सोडियम आयन क्लोराइड आयन को वाटर मॉलिक्यूल्स से सेपरेट कर सके. इवन अंडर अल्ट्रा माइक्रोस्कोप वी आर नॉट एबल टू डिस्टिंग्विश बिटवीन कैटायंस एंड आयंस फ्रॉम वाटर दैट इज सॉल्वेंट. ओके, तो सॉल्वेंट और सॉल्यूट को हम सेपरेट कर सके ऐसा कोई भी बाउंड्री नहीं है. तो अगर कोई मिक्सचर कुछ इस तरीके से है जिसमें कोई बाउंड्री है, वो एब्सेंट है, बाउंड्री इज एब्सेंट, और जो कंपोनेंट्स है वो फिक्स्ड रेशियो में है इरिस्पेक्टिव ऑफ पोर्शन वी विड्रॉल, तो ऐसे मिक्सचर को बोलते हैं होमोजीनियस मिक्सचर. अब ये जो होमोजीनियस मिक्सचर है वो फर्दर कन्वर्ट कर सकते हैं हम इनटू कंपाउंड्स और इनटू एलिमेंट्री स्टेट. लेकिन ये प्रोसेस के दरमियान हो सकता है कि वन ऑफ द कंपाउंड विल अंडरगो कंप्लीट डिस्ट्रक्शन. वो हो सकता है कि वो डिस्ट्रॉय हो जाए पूरा का पूरा, या हमें वो ना मिले. फॉर एग्जांपल सलाइन वाटर में से हमें वापस सोडियम क्लोराइड ऑप्ट करना है, सो वी विल अडॉप्ट इवोपरेशन प्रोसेस. So during evaporation process, the water will lost in form of vapor. So we cannot collect water again in a easiest way. ऐसा नहीं बोल रहा हूँ कि वो पूरा डिस्ट्रॉय हो जाता है. देखिए, कोई भी चेंज में मैटर ना तो डिस्ट्रॉय होता है ना जनरेट होता है. हाँ, उसका फॉर्म, उसका जो स्टेट है वो चेंज हो सकता है. वो सॉलिड में से लिक्विड हो सकता है, लिक्विड में से गैस हो सकता है, एनी प्रोसेस हो सकता है. सम फ्रैक्शन टर्न्स इनटू अनदर फॉर्म ऑफ एनर्जी, लेकिन हम उसको डिस्ट्रॉय नहीं कर सकते, ठीक है ना. तो जब हम सोडियम क्लोराइड का जो सॉल्यूशन है एक्वियस सॉल्यूशन लेंगे तो उसको हीट सप्लाई करेंगे, वी विल ऑप्ट सोडियम क्लोराइड इन सॉलिड स्टेट, बट ड्यूरिंग दैट H2O will undergo evaporation. So to collect that H2O, it will be quite difficult task. Not impossible, but difficult. Okay. So to convert homogeneous mixture into substance, into compound is possible. Okay. And it also depends what method is opted. Okay. Now another classification of matter If it will be in form of mixture, then it is heterogeneous mixture. So in case of heterogeneous mixture, there will be a separate boundary. So there is a boundary which separates bulk phases. Bulk phases, that is components of mixture. Okay, for example, हमने oil और water को mix किया, oil and water. So if you see, there will be a separate boundary. Say more amount of water, less amount of oil is taken. I will show oil by yellow color. Okay, so oil will suspend inside the water, and some portion of oil will also suspends on its free surface. तो आपने ऐसा phenomena देखा होगा. You will able to distinguish between oil and water, and it is very easy to separate out oil and water. If we do evaporation, then water will boils away and oil will left. Okay, so in case of heterogeneous mixture, there is a separate boundary, and it is very easy to convert heterogeneous mixture into compounds. Okay, now next is the components of compounds are not in fixed proportion. So there is a no fixed proportion, no any fixed proportion of components. इसका मतलब ये है कि अगर आप डिफरेंट पोर्शन ऑफ ऑयल वाटर सिस्टम का लेंगे, तो ऐसा ज़रूरी है कि उसमें ऑयल इज टू वाटर मॉलिक्यूल है, उनका रेशियो कोई फिक्स्ड मिले. वो डिपेंड्स करता है डिफरेंट पार्ट के रिस्पेक्ट में, हमें डिफरेंट मिलेगा. तो फ्रेंड्स, ये जो फर्स्ट टॉपिक था 1.2, उसमें हमने मैटर को कितने फॉर्म में क्लासीफाई करते हैं वो स्टडी किया. अभी हम आगे बढ़ेंगे टॉपिक 1.5. टॉपिक 1.5 is laws of chemical combination. Now, what is mean by chemical combination? We studied in topic 1.2 that we classified matter into different form. It may be elementary, it may be compound, it may be a mixture. Okay, so when elementary combines with compound, or two elementary substances combined with each other, or a mixture combines with elementary, whatever the type of process is, they turns into another kind of matter. It is called chemical combination. For example, say calcium oxide reacts with H2O, it gives CaOH twice. This is very well known reaction, you studied in lower standard. Similarly, sodium metal combines with chlorine gas to give sodium chloride. Okay. Similarly, another reaction, NaOH plus HCl gives NaCl plus H2O. Similarly, P4 plus O2 gives P4O10. If you see, in different reaction, different type of combination is there. In case of first example, two compounds reacts with each other to form one compound. In the second, two elementary substances combines to form a molecule, that is a compound. In third, two different compounds combines with each other to form another two compounds. Okay, now if we take sodium hydroxide and HCl in aqueous state, then we will get aqueous solution of sodium chloride, because whatever the water formed will be in aquated state, in aqueous form. And the last, if you see in the last example, phosphorus, which is one elementary substance, combines with another elementary substance to give P4O10. Friends, these all reaction will not happen, will not take place at identical temperature or pressure. For different reaction, different set of conditions are there. One reaction may occur at room temperature or without help of any external agency, but in other case we have to supply some heat. So reaction may be endothermic, may be exothermic, may be spontaneous, may be non-spontaneous, but every time the chemical reactions are always governed by some basic laws. Okay, so first of all we will study these basic laws, then we will take example for practice, because laws will not ask in competitive exam. So first law is law of conservation of mass. Okay, so this law was studied by French chemist Antoine Lavoisier. So Lavoisier studied law of conservation of mass. Second law is law of definite proportion. So law of definite proportion. This law was studied by French scientist Joseph Proust. So Proust studied law of definite proportion. Third law is law of multiple proportion. Law of multiple proportion. And it was given by John Dalton. So Dalton studied this law. Number 4 is law of equivalent or law of reciprocal or law of combining proportion. Okay, so we can say law of equivalent or reciprocal. Sorry, equivalent, reciprocal or combining proportion. And we can say regarding this law, it was studied by group of scientists, but the main person was Richard. So we can say basically it is studied by Richard. Now friends, in chemistry we have to remember name of physicist or chemist who helped us to study these laws. Okay, or they give certain principle, pro principle, we have to remember their name. Okay, so as a teacher I can't do anything regarding this, but let us study these laws one by one. Okay, it is very important, and ये laws है वो आमतौर से आपको रिटन एग्जाम में, मतलब आपका जो सब्जेक्टिव एग्जाम होगा उसमें भी कुछ नहीं होते खास खास, लेकिन उनकी एप्लीकेशन बहुत ही ज़्यादा इम्पोर्टेंट है. सो लेट अस मूव फॉरवर्ड and let us study first law. So first law is law of conservation of mass. अगर हम किसी रिएक्शन को शो करते हैं बाय R गिव्स P से, ओके, सो R जो है वो रिप्रेजेंट करता है रिएक्टेंट को या रिएक्टेंट्स को, और जो P है वो रिप्रेजेंट करता है प्रोडक्ट को। फॉर एग्जाम्पल हम कोई रिएक्शन ले लेंगे, NaCl प्लस NaOH, न्यूट्रलाइजेशन प्रोसेस, NaOH plus HCl gives NaCl plus H2O। ओके, तो ये जो प्रोसेस है उसमें हम बोल सकते हैं अकॉर्डिंग टू दिस लॉ, मास ऑफ रिएक्टेंट इज इक्वल टू मास ऑफ प्रोडक्ट। मतलब टोटल मास ऑफ रिएक्टेंट हम करें लेंगे, जो मान लीजिए कि हमें M मिल रहा है, MR जिसको हम डिनोट करेंगे, और मास ऑफ प्रोडक्ट को हम सेपरेटली कैलकुलेट करेंगे जिसको हम डिनोट करेंगे MP से, तो ये हमेशा इक्वल होते हैं। इन अदर वर्ड, ड्यूरिंग एनी chemical process, matter is neither be created nor destroyed. So it will remain as it is. For example, H2 gas and half O2 gas combines to form H2O. If we calculate separately mass of water, then it is 2 gram, half mole of oxygen, that is half of 32 grams. If we sum these two, then it is equal to 2 plus 16, that is 18 grams. So it is mass of reactant, it is 18 gram. Okay, now let us calculate mass of product, that is water. So mass of water will equal to twice of hydrogen and 1 times of that of oxygen. So it is 2 into 1 plus 1 into 16, it is 18. Say it is MP. If you see here, MP and MR is equal to 18. It means during any chemical process, matter is neither be created nor be destroyed. Okay, now let us discuss another law. And this law is known as law of constant or definite proportion. So law of constant proportion. If we state this law, then the pure compound always contain fixed mass of the elementary compound present in it. Irrespective of method adapted ओके इट मीन्स अगर हम प्योर कंपाउंड ऑब्टेन करेंगे, मेथड कोई भी हो, इरिस्पेक्टिव ऑफ मेथड जो हमने ऑप्ट किया है, एडप्ट किया है, इसमें जो भी एलिमेंट्री कंपाउंड्स है वो कोई ना कोई प्रॉपर रेशियो से एक दूसरे के साथ कंबाइंड होते हैं बाय मास। ओके, तो जैसे हम एग्जांपल लेते हैं H2 प्लस हाफ O2 गैस, वही एग्जांपल लेते हैं जो अभी हमने लॉ ऑफ कंजर्वेशन ऑफ मास में लिया था। तो अगर हम H2O की बात करें तो उसमें दो एलिमेंट है, एक है हाइड्रोजन और एक है ऑक्सीजन। तो हम बोल सकते हैं कि जब 2 ग्राम जितना हाइड्रोजन होगा और 16 ग्राम जितना ऑक्सीजन है, तब जाके हमें 1 मोल ऑफ वाटर दैट इज 18 ग्राम ऑफ वाटर मिल रहा है। तो अगर हम इसको सिंपलर रेशियो में ले लें तो हो जाएगा 1:8। इसका मतलब ये है कि अगर प्योर हाइड्रोजन और प्योर ऑक्सीजन एक दूसरे के साथ कंबाइन होंगे बाय रेशियो 1:8, दे विल फॉर्म 18 ग्राम ऑफ प्योर वाटर। तो ये एक सीधा प्रोसेस था बाय टेकिंग एलिमेंट्री सब्सटेंस। मतलब अगर ये प्रोसेस पॉसिबल है, इसके लिए कैटलिस्ट चाहिए प्लेटिनम, तो ये वही रेशियो में आपको मिलेंगे। अदरवाइज अगर हमारे पास सी वाटर है, somehow by removing all the impurities we are able to convert the same into pure water which contain no minerals, nothing, डबली डीमिनरलाइज्ड वाटर, उसमें कुछ भी नहीं है, डिजोल्व ऑक्सीजन भी नहीं है। तो अगर आप उसके अंदर फाइंड करेंगे हाइड्रोजन और ऑक्सीजन को बाय मास से, तो वो आपको मिलेगा 1:8। ओके, सो irrespective of method adapted, if we have very pure substance, then it always contain fixed mass of elementary compounds or elements present into it. Okay, अब ये जो प्योर है, केमिस्ट्री में प्योर सब्सटेंस किसको बोला जाएगा? तो अगर इम्प्योरिटी उसमें मान लीजिए कि प्रेजेंट है, तो ये जो इम्प्योरिटी है उसका लेवल होना चाहिए लेस देन, इम्प्योरिटी शुड बी लेस देन 10⁻⁻6 पार्ट्स पर बिलियन। मतलब ये ऑलमोस्ट इम्पॉसिबल है कि किसी भी सब्सटेंस को हम प्योर फॉर्म में निकाल सके, लेकिन बाय नेचुरल प्रोसेस बहुत सारे सब्सटेंसेस हैं वो प्योर स्टेट में मिल सकते हैं। ओके, अदरवाइज मैनमेड रिएक्शन से हम यूजुअली, इम्पॉसिबल नहीं बोल रहा हूँ, यूजुअली हमें प्योर फॉर्म में सब्सटेंस नहीं मिल रहे हैं। ओके, तो एक और एग्जांपल लेते हैं। चलिए अब हम बनाते हैं H2O2 को। हमने H2O2 को कोई रिएक्शन से बनाया, फॉर एग्जांपल BaO2 प्लस H2SO4 गिव्स H2O2 प्लस BaSO4। तो आपको पता है कि H2O2 को हम बोलते हैं हाइड्रोजन पेरोक्साइड। सो जो हमें कंपाउंड मिल रहा है वो है हाइड्रोजन पेरोक्साइड। तो ये जो हाइड्रोजन पेरोक्साइड है उसमें पेरोक्साइड आयन होता है, दैट इज O2 2-, उसको हम लिखते हैं एज अ O2 2-। हम O- नहीं लिख सकते क्योंकि उसमें जो दो ऑक्सीजन एटम है उनके बीच एक कोवलेंट बॉन्ड है, तो उसको कुछ ऐसे लिखा जाता है। सो व्हेन वी split H2O, then it is written as 2H plus and O2 2-। हम उसको ऐसे नहीं लिख सकते हैं कि H2O2 split as 2H plus and 2O-। ओके, हम ऐसे नहीं लिख सकते हैं। चलिए अब हम मेन पॉइंट पे आते हैं। तो अगर हमारे पास है H2O2, so H2O2 contains two elements, हाइड्रोजन एंड ऑक्सीजन। सो अगर हम H2O2 का मॉलिक्यूलर मास फाइंड आउट करेंगे तो मॉलिक्यूलर मास हो जाएगा ट्वाइस ऑफ हाइड्रोजन एंड ट्वाइस ऑफ ऑक्सीजन। सो इट इज 34। ओके, सो 34 ग्राम ऑफ H2O2 इज अ 1 मोल। तो 34 ग्राम में जो कंट्रीब्यूशन है हाइड्रोजन का वो है 2 ग्राम, और जो ऑक्सीजन है उसकी कंट्रीब्यूशन है 32 ग्राम। तो अगर हम सिंपल रेशियो की बात करें तो हो जाएगा 1:16। इट मीन्स इफ हाइड्रोजन एंड ऑक्सीजन somehow combines with each other in the ratio 1:16, they always form H2O2. But if they combines with each other in the ratio 1:8, they always form H2O. It means with respect to the combination of elements in H2O and H2O2 हम बोल सकते हैं, अगर हम हाइड्रोजन इज टू ऑक्सीजन रेशियो लेंगे तो यहाँ पे मिल रहा है 1:8, लेकिन यहाँ पे मिल रहा है 1:16। सो अगर हाइड्रोजन और ऑक्सीजन से कोई कंपाउंड बन रहा है जिसमें रेशियो 1:16 है तो वो हमेशा हाइड्रोजन पेरोक्साइड ही होगा, और अगर 1:8 है तो वो हमेशा H2 के फॉर्म में ही होगा। ओके।